Hi Year 11. This video will discuss the next assessment task for English here at Freshie, so addressing Slaughterhouse 5, and we'll go through the details together. Okay, so you can see on your gold sheet, this is your second task for English Advanced. We are addressing the unit Narratives That Shape Our World, and it is a multimodal assessment, so it has a digital component. You'll see there that it's due by 4 p.m. on the 20th of June, and we'll go through how you submit it in just a minute. Okay, so for this task, you are going to write and record a podcast that reveals your understanding of Module A. So really thinking about the module of narratives and how powerful narratives, like Slaughterhouse 5, can shape our way of thinking, that can change our perspective. In your podcast, you need to make detailed reference to Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse 5, showing your personal interpretation, answering this question. So some narratives are so memorable, not because they are enjoyable, but because they are deeply unsettling and they disrupt your perception to the point where you'll never see the world in the same way again. Okay, so there's a lot in this question. You need to think about how texts, narratives, stories can shake your understanding of the world, can be deeply unsettling, to the point where after you've read that text, you'll never see the world the same way again. Now, it's deliberately open-ended, it's deliberately available for debate because we want to hear your voice. We want to hear your perspective, your understanding, your interpretation of the text and its meaning. So you'll need to analyse how this is true, so how this statement is true of your interpretation of Vonnegut's text, Slaughterhouse 5. Now, to make the podcasting authentic and interesting, have some fun with it. Think about how you might play different roles. Now, you absolutely must have a speaking role. So you must be part of the audio production. You have to have a speaking role. But you might get a neighbour or an older brother or sister or mum and dad to be in that podcast with you as like an interviewee. You can play certain roles. So you might decide to, get some critic or some, famous literary, I don't know, someone from Harvard, whatever you want to do, or even do something quirky and fun and, interview Kurt Vonnegut yourself. There's a lot of flexibility and a lot of opportunity for you to be creative in that component. Okay, so 4 minutes. 4 minutes exactly will be when it is stopped. So you can go right up into that 4 minutes, but at 4 minutes, the marker will stop it. So if you don't manage your time very well and there's still another 30 seconds to go after it, we're not even going to listen to it. So 4 minutes is the maximum. So you need to manage your time very carefully. Because this assignment has an audio component, there is 2 points of submission, okay? You need to submit the typed up transcript as a Word document of who's saying what. So the interview question and the interviewee answer, all those sort of things. That will be submitted the same way you did assessment 1. So on Turnitin. So you can check your plagiarism scores. The audio, so where you digitally record you and your neighbour or whatever having this dialogue as part of the podcast, the digital recording is going to be uploaded onto this special Google Classroom code. So it is not your normal English classroom. This is a new Google Classroom that everyone's going to join so that everybody in advance will upload their assignment there. Both components are due by 4 p.m. Upload them separately, make sure they're in on time. Now, obviously, we're always encouraging you to submit drafts for feedback. For this, we're going to be accepting the transcript because we don't want you investing time and energy in doing the audio and then we give you feedback on what needs to be changed in the analysis. So you will submit a draft to your English teacher for feedback no later than the 6th of June. That's 2 weeks before the real date, which gives your teacher time to read it and make notes, and also you time to action and make change. Okay, so let's have a look at the marking criteria. We're assessing 3 essential skills. So the first one's how well you answer the question. The second one is your knowledge of the module and the text and how well you can analyse it. And the third is essentially how well you can write in that podcast form, so your control of language. So looking at the first dot point, to get into that A range, which is a 17 or above, it's what we're classifying as skillful. So we want to see an insightful argument that skillfully addresses the question, so that we can see that there's insight, that it's not just information on the page, but your interpretation of meaning, and you've really engaged with the module and how these narratives have the potential to alter our worldviews. The second dot point is about the analysis. So is this detailed and well-chosen textual references? So you've really given a lot of thought into why these quotes are the best ones to validate your argument. And insightful analysis. So we are thinking about unpacking and analyze Vonnegut's choices, language and form. So you're thinking micro and macro. And lastly, we are asking you to write in the podcast form. So we're assessing on how well you've got a perceptive and personal voice, and you're using that language and the voice to communicate your ideas in the podcast medium. So think about that sort of conversational yet academic language, that back and forth. Practice reading it out loud to check the fluidity and the cohesion and all those sort of things. Okay, so how do you prepare? Lots of different ways to go about this, but to get you started, don't just start writing. You actually need to spend some time thinking. Maybe even write the question on a big A3 piece of paper and annotate it. Unpack what we as a marking centre are looking for. Find some synonyms, some language. Find your in. How are you going to answer this question? Read widely. The other good thing about Slaughterhouse 5 is that there's so many sources out there, smarter people than me writing about this text. So read what they've got to say. Argue with and against them. Find your line of argument. Then you plan your response. So you need to pick the evidence that's going to best validate your interpretation. So not just from one scene or one chapter or one section or from one character. Think about showing your depth and breadth. So pulling evidence from across the novel, the best evidence, nuanced is the word we like to use in the Marking Centre to show deep understanding. Then you start building the skeleton. You start drafting it out. And you want to make sure that it all fits together, that it doesn't feel like here's a paragraph on this theme, here's a paragraph on this theme, but it all ties together cohesively. Then editing and refining. Now, because it is a podcast form, I'm encouraging you to read it out loud. Check saying it out loud because it's not an essay. Reading it out loud to check that it flows, that it feels natural, that it feels comfortable. And get feedback. Now, we've obviously talked about how you can submit that to your English teacher, but I'm also encouraging you that your English teacher shouldn't be the first person to read it. Practice reading it at the dinner table. Mum reads one role, you read another, and maybe you've got a critical friend that can give you feedback of what section feels clunky, what's really interesting, what's perhaps not working. And then you need to refine. Use that feedback from your teacher or from your friends about how you can make improvements. And I also urge you to leave a good chunk of time for the recording. So we don't want it with lots of background noise. We want it to be polished. We want it to be professional. And you can be creative with audio overlay and all those sort of things, but leave a good chunk of time to do that recording so that you can submit it on time. Okay, now the last sheet on your gold sheet handout is a reminder about NESA and Freshwater's policy for submitting assessment tasks. So this is a formal assessment task. You need to abide by those rules, and if you've got any questions, please see your classroom teacher. Otherwise, if it's stuff about policy and procedure, I'm also very happy to have those conversations with you to make sure that it's all in on time and that you're setting yourself up for the best opportunity to succeed. If you've got questions, feel free to pop by and see me. Otherwise, enjoy, please work hard, and I hope you have a lot of fun with this assignment.